Naruto, Rise of the Darkest Shinobi Force. Like, share and subscribe. Episode 1. Chakra of the Hokage world, the physique of the pirate world. It's boring. Can't you have some big event to refresh me? Konoha Village, on Hokage Rock. A boy with blonde hair and waist, 6 fox whiskers on his face, dressed in khaki clothes, and a swirling pattern on his back, said lazily. He is none other than the child of destiny of the Hokage world, Naruto Uzumaki. Since more than 10 years ago, after carrying the fusion system to Naruto Uzumaki, who was still a baby, Naruto has been studying how to become stronger. But he only knows that the fusion system can fuse into other worlds through ninjutsu. For example, the demon fruit of the pirate world, the soul-slashing knife of the fire shadow world, the treasure of the type moon world, the magic of the demon tail world, and so on. Unfortunately, the fusion system is only after fusing his chakra extraction technique with the physique of the pirate world. Naruto never touched any ninjutsu that could be fused again. 13 years passed, and Naruto could only set his sights on the Book of Seals. I only hope that on that, I can get some ability to satisfy myself. And after fusing the physique of the pirate world, Naruto's physical fitness is simply outrageously strong. You can lift a boulder weighing up to 10 tons with your bare hands. Even holding this boulder and running around Konoha Village for 3 days and 3 nights may not be exhausting. Thanks to the blessing of physical fitness, Naruto has now mastered the essentials of Konoha's fluid technique, which is several times stronger than lock in this period. Naruto. I knew you were lazy here. From a distance ran a girl with cherry blossom-colored hair, flat chest, hands crossed at the waist, and an annoyed look. Naruto glanced at her and said lazily, "It's Sakura, what's the matter with me? It's a beautiful wind today, why did Sakura suddenly think of looking for him? Have you forgotten what day it is?" Sakura snorted twice with her hands on her waist. "Today is the day we graduate from ninja school, Iruka-sensei is going crazy, let's look for you everywhere." Graduated from ninja school? Naruto yawned lazily and looked below the Hokage rock. Shikamaru, Dingji, Ino, Hinata, yeah, Shino. Really, is Iruka-sensei so fanfare? Actually sent them all out, Naruto said lazily. He knew that today was the day of the exam, but Naruto didn't care about the exam at all. As long as you have strength, what can you do even if you are an ordinary person? In the end, the Hokage world is respected. Otherwise, even if you have a great reputation, can others surrender without a fight? Can you not be in a hurry? Now the whole class is one short of you, don't you want to graduate? Sakura said anxiously. Although Iruka-sensei was willing to wait for Naruto. But this time the assessment teacher, but there is also Mizuki, in case Mizuki-sensei is in a hurry, it will be bad if Naruto does not graduate. Thinking of this, Sakura didn't care about 37251, and grabbed Naruto's clothes. Why not? Men and women are not intimate, see that although you are a flat-chested woman, I didn't expect to admire me so much. Naruto slapped Sakura's hand away with a surprised look. As if afraid Sakura would eat his tofu. What did you say? Sakura's face turned dark at that time, and men and women were not intimate? She is a genius at the top, touch the tail of this crane, don't think Dade, and dare to mock her flat chest? Naruto, believe it or not I beat you up. Sakura clenched her fists and looked viciously at Naruto. You can't beat me, if you dare to do something to me, believe me here to touch your flat chest? Naruto looked at Sakura's chest and said lazily. Sakura's teeth itched angrily and she glared viciously at Naruto, but still lowered her palm, she knew Naruto could do such a thing. Naruto. At this moment, an angry roar came from behind Hokage Rock. Immediately afterwards, a man wearing a Konoha brace on his head and a rampant scar on his nose rushed up. Seeing this, Sakura gloated and looked at Naruto. Iruka-sensei's lungs exploded after he found out that Naruto was not present, and this time it would be his life not to beat Naruto to death. Hey! Naruto waved his hand and said with a look of exclamation, "Isn't this Iruka-sensei? Are you also here to enjoy the beauty of this Konoha village?" Iruka's face darkened. He admires the beauty of a yarn, and he looks at it 80 times a day, and he vomits. After learning that Naruto missed his class, Iruka was not angry. Anyway, Naruto was not in the classroom for 9 out of 10 days. But this time, Naruto even cocked the exam, and almost didn't get his heart and cerebrovasors out. Naruto. This time's account, I'll calculate it with you another day, hurry up and follow me to the exam, Mizuki-sensei has been waiting for you for half a day. Iruka said viciously. In order to find Naruto, he ran almost all over the village. Now he was so tired that his legs were a little soft, and if it weren't for the upcoming exam, he would have to teach Naruto a good lesson. Naruto glanced at Iruka's slightly trembling legs, leaned his neck back, and said lazily, "Iruka-sensei, I told you a long time ago, don't work too hard when you go home, you don't listen, beware of kidney failure when you are old." Iruka almost vomited out a mouthful of old blood. His legs were soft, it was clear that he was tired of looking for him, and this bastard actually dared to say cool words. He dared to slander him to go home and work, knowing that he was still a bachelor. If this word got out, what other family in the village would marry his girlfriend to him? Iruka was so angry that his teeth itched, and he walked over with a black face and yelled, "Naruto! You don't want to graduate yet, do you want to stay in ninja school for the rest of your life?" Naruto's eyes lit up, and he turned his head and nodded seriously. "I just have this intention, worthy of Iruka-sensei, just understand me." Episode 2 smashes the statue of the fourth generation of Hokage, Naruto. Iruka was about to vomit blood from anger. He knew a woolen Naruto? As far as this kid's brain circuits are concerned, it is estimated that few people in the entire village understand him. The third generation of Hokage also made him look at Naruto and let Naruto study well. With this lazy look, even if chakra is not chaotic, I am afraid it will be difficult to have a chance. "Naruto, I know your chakra can't control it, but don't be discouraged by it. What if you overperform this time?" Iruka persuaded bitterly. 10 years ago, he knew Naruto's true life through 3 generations of Hokage. A genius who inherited the bloodline of the 4 generations of Hokage wave Feng Shui Gate and the genius of the Uzumaki clan. As long as Naruto exercises well, it is definitely not the strength he has now. "Don't." Naruto flatly refused. He might as well run out of the village to get some exercise at this time. Seeing that Naruto's oil and salt did not enter, Iruka hated that it was called a tooth itch. One rotisserie. Iruka endured the flesh pain in his heart, looked at the shriveled wallet, and said with a pained flesh. This time the exam he took Naruto anyway. It's just that this guy's lazy nature, if there is no benefit, I am afraid it will really be upturned. For this, Iruka had to sacrifice his small salary. 5 times. Naruto's eyes lit up and said. 3 times, no more. Iruka said with a dark face. 5 times at the yakiniku restaurant, he suspected that Naruto was trying to spend all his money to please his wife. Okay, 3 times is 3 times. Naruto agreed with a grin. He only needed 3 times, and if he did it 5 times, it would be too late to exercise. Iruka's face darkened. I don't know why, he always had the feeling that he was calculated by Naruto. "Hey, Shikamaru, I'm here." After agreeing to Iruka, Naruto smiled and waved down. "It's Naruto, he's actually on Hokage Rock." Shikamaru, Sasuke, Ino and the others' eyes lit up, and they climbed up the Hokage Rock with a huff. "Crane Tail, when you are lazy here, our whole class is waiting for you alone, don't you know shame?" Sasuke panted and climbed up the Hokage Rock and asked angrily. If it weren't for Naruto, he would have passed the exam by now and become a true ninja. At that time, he can get closer to the man instead of looking for people all over the street. Now seeing Naruto's grinning expression, he suddenly lost his anger. "Yes. Iruka-sensei asked you to come to me, doesn't that mean I'm more important than you?" Naruto said with a smile. Sasuke's angry eyes were burning and he stared angrily at Naruto. What is more important than him? He is a genius at the top of the class, or a member of the Uchiha clan, how can he be worse than Naruto's Crane Tail? "Crane Tail, I see you really don't want to live, do you want to come and compete?" Sasuke stared at Naruto with angry eyes, and he made up his mind to teach Naruto a good lesson. "Fight with children, even if you win, I won't be happy, or you wait until you grow up," Naruto said righteously. Sasuke clenched his palms in anger. "What is a child, you are only 13 years old this year, just like him, right? Really Naruto, why did you get here?" Trouble is dead. When Sasuke was angry, Shikamaru and Inodinji also ran up, so tired that they couldn't help but gasp. Fire Shadow Rock and Fire Rock Tip are 2 concepts. Without a little help, even ninjas would be exhausted. "Don't complain, Shikamaru, I'm not here to let you exercise and exercise, but Uncle Shikaku said, you don't exercise at home at all." Naruto waved his hand and smiled. "Spare me, there is that old man at home watching out, and you will watch it," Shikamaru said with a headache. With the kung fu of exercise, he might as well make a cup of tea and enjoy life. "Naruto, Naruto Rock is so steep, how did you run up?" Ino asked with a curious look. "The tip of the Hokage Rock, but there are no stairs." "And they didn't see the rope either, how did Naruto climb up without mastering chakra?" "Oh, you said that." Naruto raised a smile on his face, waved the hammer in his hand, and said, "I made a few holes and climbed the rock. That stone is very hard, I hit it, it was quite hard." Naru's face was full of emotion. "What?" Shikamaru, Dinji, Ino, Sasuke, Sakura, plus the one who had just come up, yeah, Hinata, Shino, shouted in disbelief. Their eyes turned towards the Hokage Rock. Iruka-sensei's eyes widened suddenly, staring at the hammer in Naruto's hand and swallowing a mouthful of spit dryly. The body trembled slightly, and he turned his head stiffly to look down. Suddenly, it felt like a thunderbolt on a sunny day, and almost a mouthful of old blood spewed out. For generations of Hokage, the statue of the fourth generation of Hokage was pierced by you. Iruka-sensei's eyes almost didn't pop out, and he roared hoarsely. I saw that on the statue of the fourth generation of Hokage wave feng shui men, there was a row of densely packed small holes. It spread all the way from the chin to the top of the head, as if a scar appeared on the face of the fourth generation of Hokage wave feng shui men. Iruka almost fainted on the spot. Hokage Rock is the landmark of their Konoha village. Everyone in the village is proud of this statue. Today it was actually pierced by Naruto. Iruka couldn't wait to open Naruto's brain case to see what was inside. That's the fourth generation of Hokage wave feng shui men, your father's statue. Except for your father, that's also the fourth generation of Hokage, the man who saved the village in the first place. The statue was actually destroyed. Episode 3, The Firm Seal of the Nine Tails, Ahem. In Hokage's office, there was an unusually painful cough. The three generations of Hokage apes flew into the sun, looking at the scene in the crystal ball in front of them, so that they were not choked to death by the smoke they spit out. Naruto, that smelly boy, broke my statue nose some time ago. I haven't asked him to settle the account, and now I give the statue of Watergate. I have to teach him a good lesson after a while. Ape Fairy coughed for a long time and said angrily. He wondered if Naruto Uzumaki would tear down the village if he gave Naruto Uzumaki a while longer. Humph, I said long ago to hand him over to our roots and make him a knife in Konoha, you just don't listen, now it's okay, basically a waste. Beside the ape flying sun, an old man wrapped in bandages, leaving only one eye, and a gloomy temperament, said coldly. To the other shinobi villages, which one does not use the human pillar force as a lethal weapon? For example, the one-tailed Shizuru of Sand Ninja Village, the two-tailed cat of Yunin Village, the eight-tailed cow ghost, the four-tailed Sun Wukong of Iwa Ninja Village, the five-tailed Mu King and so on. He went to Konoha Village and controlled the most powerful nine tails, but he was just a waste man. Not a deterrent at all. Alas. Sarutobi took a puff of his cigarette, sighed, and shook his head. I also didn't expect the nine-tailed chakra to have such a powerful interference power, and even the talents of Watergate and Gyoshinai didn't work, alas. Ape Flying Sun said with a sigh. Buofeng Shuemen and Uzumaki Gyoshinai were both gifted geniuses in their youth. He originally thought that Naruto would inherit their parents' talent and be free to manipulate the nine-tailed chakra. But he forgot that the reason why Gyoshinai was able to ignore the interference of the nine-tailed chakra. It was entirely because Uzumaki Gyoshinai was a member of the Uzumaki clan and had mastered all the sealing techniques of the Uzumaki clan. In this way, he can ignore the interference of the nine-tailed chakra when he is a teenager and show amazing talent. And Naruto Uzumaki himself did not master a little sealing technique. And under his control, he did not come into contact with any powerful ninjutsu. 13 years have passed, except for his relatively strong physical fitness, Naruto Uzumaki has not shown any extraordinary skills at all. Not only did he disappoint Tuanzong, but even he was a little suspicious of whether he had done something wrong. However, the seal in Naruto Uzumaki's body is firm, and it is indeed good. If it goes on like this, there is no need to worry about the nine tails coming out again to make trouble in a few decades. Ape Fairy took a puff of his cigarette and said in a deep voice. The seal on Naruto Uzumaki was sealed by the joint efforts of Wave Feng Shui Gate and Uzumaki Gyoshinai. Its seal is so strong that no one in the entire world can be strong. Only this can make the ape flying sun satisfied. Humph, firm is firm, there is no deterrent power of human pillar force at all, isn't this equivalent to waste? Tuanzong said with a cold snort of disdain. Why is human pillar force called a weapon of destruction? You can control the tailed beast. Such a strong seal makes Naruto Uzumaki just a waste that acts as a sealing container. According to his idea, it was to let Naruto Uzumaki participate in hellish training and master the method of controlling the nine tails. In this way, those ninjas who are eyeing the nine-tailed demon fox dare not covet. But Tuanzong glanced coldly at the ape flying sun. It was this guy who was worried that his power was too strong, and no matter what he said, he just refused to hand Naruto Uzumaki over to him. You don't have to worry about this, I have my own preparation. Sarutobi put down the bong gun and said in a deep voice. Naruto Uzumaki is 13 years old this year and missed the best time to cultivate. Although he likes to play pranks on weekdays, his personality is also quite good. Don't take revenge on others after you have great strength. He can also feel a little relieved in his heart. It's time to give him some ninjutsu. Humph. Then give it to you first, if it still doesn't improve, don't blame me, forcibly catch him to the root. Tuanzong snorted coldly and strode towards the door. He is absolutely intolerable, the powerful nine-tailed pillar force is a waste. And even if he can't exert the strength of the nine tails, doesn't Naruto Uzumaki still have the Uzumaki bloodline? Big deal to catch the root, when the following members of the department to recover from the tool of injury. Watching Tuanzong walk away, Ape Fei sighed. Turning his head, he looked at Naruto Uzumaki on the crystal ball screen with deep eyes. Although he was also satisfied with the firmness of the seal, but, as Tuanzo said, the nine-tailed pillar force could not be a waste. Otherwise, it would be equivalent to other shinobi villages having nuclear weapons. Konoha, on the other hand, only has an unusable arsenal. And changing a person as a human pillar force, although it may run away at any time, but at least, it will not be able to use even the nine-tailed chakra. Thinking of this, Sarutobi took a puff of his cigarette and slammed the bong gun twice on the table. Ugh. A dark part dressed in black and wearing a dog's head mask appeared in front of Ape Flying Sunchop, half kneeling on the ground. You go for a trip. After the Ape Flying Sun chopping some explanation. The dark part with the dog's head mask nodded, and the figure flashed and disappeared into the Hokage office. Calm returned to Hokage's office, and Sarutobi stood up, walked to the window, looked at the lively Hokage rock, and muttered something in his mouth. Naruto Uzumaki, don't let me down. Episode 4, Shocking Physique, Naruto. Iruka-sensei covered her face and screamed as if she had been sucked dry. The statue of the fourth generation of Hokage was destroyed, and this consequence was simply unimaginable. The last time the statue of the third generation of Hokage was destroyed, it was hundreds of ninjas, who saved Naruto from the pile of people in 9 lifetimes. This time, he felt that even if Naruto had 9 lives, he would not be able to escape the consequences of being beaten by a group. Quick, Naruto, hurry up and follow me. The corners of Iruka's mouth twitched, grabbed Naruto's hand and ran towards the Hokage building. Otherwise, when the villagers find out that the statue of the fourth generation of Hokage has been destroyed, I am afraid that even he will have to be beaten half to death. No thanks. A figure flickered, and a female dark part with a dog's head mask appeared in front of Iruka-sensei. Pass on the order of the 3 generations of Hokage, don't worry about the destruction of the 4th generation Hokage statue for the time being, first conduct the ninja assessment. The female dark part with the dog's head mask said in a deep voice. Huh. Iruka was stunned, then nodded in surprise. Quickly pulled Naruto and said, Naruto, what are you waiting for? Hurry up and thank this dark master. Iruka kept thanking the 3 generations of Hokage in his heart, but fortunately, the 3 generations of Hokage did not care. Otherwise, destroying the fire shadow rock would be a mortal sin. Oh. Thank you, and treat you to roast chicken another day. Naruto glanced at the neodymium dark part that had been monitoring him for several years, and nodded lazily and said. Oh. No thanks. The corner of the woman's dark mouth twitched and said. Eating Naruto's roast chicken, she is easily killed by her own colleagues. After speaking, the female dark figure flickered and disappeared in an instant. Really, Naruto, you are really rude. That Dark Lord is at least a shinobi, aren't you afraid of being put in small shoes? Sakura said as she looked at Naruto viciously. They are just students who have not yet graduated from the ninja school, how dare they offend such a strong person? Small shoes? Naruto muttered, a smile on the corners of his mouth. The dark part just now, although I don't know who she is. But during the years of surveillance, Naruto politely said that he knew more about herself than the female darker. Every time they take a bath by themselves, the other person will turn their head to the side. When he sleeps outside, the other party will also bring himself a quilt and take it away at dawn. A shy female ninja, but fortunately, it's her. After muttering to himself, the corners of Naruto's mouth hooked and he stretched. Let's go to the assessment, otherwise you won't be able to catch up. Iruka-sensei, Sakura, and the others, their faces suddenly darkened. Who do you think we can't make it to the test? Iruka-sensei said with a dark face. Hey. Naruto laughed a few times, his body nimble as he ran on the Hokage rock. Every kick happened to step on the 4th generation of Hokage rock, and in the crater that was chiseled out, it came down from the Hokage rock in just half a minute. Hey, you guys hurry up, after the assessment, I'm going to eat roast chicken with Shikamaru and them. Naruto stood in the village and shouted at Iruka and the others on the Hokage rock. Naruto, absolutely want to kill you. Shikamaru said with a dark face. It took them almost 20 minutes to climb the steep mountain wall before climbing, and it took Naruto that guy half a minute to go down. As the saying goes, it's easy to go up the mountain, but it's hard to go down. The steep road made Shikamaru a little headache to look at. Shikamaru rubbed his temples with a headache. Turning his head and nodding at Ino and Dingji. Go straight down. Shikamaru said helplessly. The 3 of them covered chakra on their feet, like a volley, galloping down the mountain wall at 180 degrees vertical. This. Sasuke's pupils shrank sharply when he saw the steps of the 3, and his face looked incredulous. What kind of ability is it to actually run on vertical mountains? There's really no way, I don't want to go any further, Akamaru, let's go. Tooth rubbed his head helplessly and shouted at Akamaru behind him. Wong. Akamaru hugged his head and screamed, and the two of them also ran vertically down. I'm gone too. Shino said in silence, ran a few steps to the Hokage rock, and ran down. They actually do. Sasuke's eyes widened, his chest rising and falling, and his expression on his face in disbelief. What is this miraculous power? There are so many people who will. I've heard Naruto say this, it's a manifestation of manipulating chakra, any terrain like walking on the ground, you can also walk on the sea. Sakura said in shock. For those of them who have not yet graduated from ninja school. Just a simple treading of water has already subverted their worldview. What about Naruto, that crane tail showed, is it also this ability? Sasuke clenched his fists unwillingly, and asked with jealousy in his eyes. It's not. Iruka shook his head and said, Naruto only relies on physical fitness, but compared to controlling chakra, Naruto's physical fitness is more amazing. Iruka sighed. Naruto's physical fitness, no matter how many times he watched it, was so amazing. Episode 5, That Crane Tail. Sasuke clenched his palms jealously, overtaken by the crane tail he had always thought he had, or undoubtedly crushed. This made Sasuke, whose self-esteem was extremely explosive, almost have an urge to growl. Naruto-kun. Suddenly, from the Hokage rock below, came Hinata's weak shyness. The only remaining Sasuke, Sakura, Hinata, and Iruka cast their gazes suspiciously. In their line of sight, Naruto jumped a few steps and jumped up from Hokage rock, smiling and touching Hinata's head. Hinata's face was red, white smoke was coming out of her head, and she was so shy that she couldn't even speak. Naruto, what are you still up for? Do you still want to skip my class? Iruka said as he looked at Naruto with a dark face. He felt that this kid could definitely do such a thing. How can it? I don't dare to miss Iruka-sensei your class. Naruto smiled and complimented. Iruka blushed and scolded with a smile. Give me less. Hey. Naruto smiled, turned his head, looked at Hinata, and stretched out his right hand. Your Royal Highness, do you want me to carry you down? Hinata instantly turned into a steam engine, a white smoke came out of his head, and his face turned red. Weakly raised his head, glanced at Naruto, and quickly lowered his head with a small red face. Shaking his body, almost fainting, he said in a mosquito-like voice, Naruto-kun, good, okay. The corners of Naruto's mouth hooked and hugged Hinata. Turning his head to look at Sakura, he said, Sakura, how's it going? Do you want to go together? Naruto stretched out his hand and asked, with a smile on his face. Sakura hesitated, her pretty face blushing slightly. Her physical fitness is not strong, the amount of chakra is not very much, it is easy to climb up, and if you want to climb down, I don't know how much effort it takes. It's fine on weekdays. But the assessment is about to be carried out, and at this time chakra is overconsumed, which may affect the results of the assessment. He glanced at Sasuke hesitantly and said, Sasuke-kun, or we'll listen to Naruto and go down with him? When Naruto heard this, he immediately raised his eyebrows and said in disgust, Hey, Sakura, I didn't say I was going to help that smelly fart. He was just looking at the distance and barely taking Sakura. Man, or Sasuke, forget it. Sasuke, who originally wanted to agree, heard this, and he couldn't get angry, and said with a cold snort, Crane tail, I don't plan to use your power, don't be sentimental. That's good. Naruto patted his chest reassuringly, and then put his palm around Sakura. Looking down at Hinata, who blushed shyly, he said with a smile, Then my Royal Highness, we are leaving. Buzz. Hinata felt the breath coming from near his face turned red, and he nodded weakly. Reached out and hugged Naruto's arm. Gone. Naruto laughed. Hinata on the left and Sakura on the right. Then, under the shocked gazes of Iruka and Sasuke, a few steps jumped down from the Hokage rock. Naruto, are you crazy? Iruka anxiously ran to the edge of the Hokage rock and shouted loudly. Jumping down with two people at the same time, although they are two girls who are not heavy. However, this heavy falling force, without the help of friction, even a ninja who specializes in physical arts, may not be able to withstand it. Naruto. I'm going to be killed by you, Sakura shouted in despair. His hands hugged Naruto's neck tightly, his eyes not daring to open, and he closed, deadly. Naruto-kun. Hinata also put her arms around Naruto's neck in fear, but instead of closing her eyes, she looked at Naruto with a worried expression. Don't worry, my Royal Highness. Naruto smiled heartily, his legs strengthening. Stomp heavily on the Hokage rock. Boom. A loud bang sounded, and countless cracks suddenly cracked on the fire shadow rock. With this reaction, Naruto ran quickly on the Hokage rock, and finally jumped down when he was still more than 10 meters from the ground. Boom. Click, click. With a loud bang, Naruto stomped on the ground with both feet. The huge force caused countless cracks to break into the stone floor, spreading wildly to the outside like a spider's web. My Royal Highness, when you arrive, do you still want me to hold you? Looking at the two girls hugging his neck tightly, Naruto smiled helplessly and said. Hokage Rock is about 100 meters high, although it looks steep. But this height, with his physical fitness, if it weren't for Sakura and Hinata, there would be no problem jumping straight down. This is the ability obtained by Chakrati alchemy, the fused pirate world system. A monster-like body. Of course, Naruto's meal intake also increased a lot, and almost one person could eat a store. Naruto-kun, your hands. Hinata's face turned red and muttered, her voice was like a mosquito, and she couldn't hear it without listening carefully. Hand. Naruto squeezed his palm in surprise, before reacting. Because of Chakra's alchemy, he fused the physique of the pirate world. The body is crazy long, although he is 13 years old, he already has a height of 1 meter 7. With good physical development, Naruto is a head taller than Sakura and Hinata. Picked up these two girls, and their hands unconsciously wrapped around their butts. Naruto-kun. Hinata had white smoke above her head, muttered shyly, and fainted directly. Naruto quickly hugged Hinata a little tighter, and shook his head with laughter. This girl, just like a few years ago, is still so shy. Then Naruto turned his head, looked at Sakura, and asked in surprise, what's wrong with you? Hinata is also a shy, his personality is relatively shy. And what about Sakura? Shouldn't Sakura viciously rush out of his arms? What's going on? The style of painting has changed? I saw Sakura raise her head and look at Naruto, her big eyes were full of tears, and her voice trembled and said, Naruto, my legs are soft. Episode 6, is like a young blonde, legs soft? Naruto smiled dumbly, indeed, hundreds of meters in the air was nothing to him. However, for these little ninjas who have never seen the world, it is basically equivalent to a cliff. Sakura is just afraid of soft legs, and she didn't scare to pee on the spot, which is already very good. Well, I'll hold you reluctantly. The corners of Naruto's mouth hooked, and he held Sakura and Hinata in his arms. Turning his head to look above the Hokage rock, he shouted loudly, Iruka-sensei, you should hurry, if you grind it again, it will be dark. Are you the body of a monster like yours? Iruka, who ran down from the Hokage rock in a straight line, cursed secretly in his heart, and felt shocked by Naruto's physique. Hundreds of meters in the air. Just rubbing the ground once or twice is completely equivalent to jumping down directly. The ground was smashed, and it was all stone slabs made of tough ore, only one step weaker than steel. But Naruto's body was like a Vajra cast, and he didn't suffer a little damage. This physical fitness, if he hadn't watched Naruto grow up. I'm afraid I will think that this is some kind of monster, and it has become Naruto's appearance. At the same time, the 3 generations of Hokage ape Flying Sun Chopper in Hokage's office also smoked an old cigarette, and the corners of his mouth couldn't help twitching. Naruto, whose bloodline did this inherit? It's a Tyrannosaurus of steel, remembering Naruto Uzumaki's mother, Uzumaki Shinai. Sarutobi felt a little toothache. Even that humanoid female Tyrannosaurus is only powerful, but does not have such a tough physique. If the original Uzumaki Joshinai had such a powerful physique, plus the 9-tailed chakra, I am afraid that his strength would not be weaker than that of Watergate. Even if Naruto's body was weak when he gave birth, I am afraid that he could beat the 9-tailed demon fox to half-death with this pair of fists. It's a pity, it's a pity. Ape Fei thought for a long time, and shook his head helplessly. He had also studied the reason why Naruto Uzumaki's body was so powerful, but he hadn't found the slightest bit at all. It can only be considered that the 9-tailed body of Naruto Uzumaki is responsible. Is this why God opened a door for Naruto Uzumaki, and he was bound to close a window? The influence of the 9-tailed chakra made Naruto Uzumaki unable to use ninjutsu at all. Not that it sucks, but that it simply can't be used. Just like Matt K's disciple, Lee Locke. Born to be a ninjutsu idiot. If Naruto could use ninjutsu slightly, he wouldn't have to have such a headache. Alas. Sarutobi sighed, even if Naruto Uzumaki was the son of Wave Feng Shui Men. With Naruto Uzumaki's whirlpool bloodline alone, he didn't want to change another person. You must know that the best human pillar force recognized by the ninja world is the Uzumaki clan. With their innately powerful chakra and sealing techniques, both the weakest 1-tailed Chizuru and the most powerful 9-tailed 9 llamas can easily subdue them. I just don't know, can I master it? Sarutobi looked at the book of seals in front of him. The page that recorded the sealing technique of the Vortex clan muttered to himself. Mizuki-sensei, I'm really sorry, this student of mine made you bother more. Iruka looked apologetic and apologized to the ninja in front of him with pale gray hair and wearing a ninja vest. Whatever Iruka said, children, it's okay to be naughty. Understand? Mizuki had not finished what he said with a smile, and his eyes became dull. Stretching out his finger, he pointed to the man in front of him who was 1 meter and 7, with blonde hair and waist and a lazy face. Is this 13 years old? You can't eat hormones so fast. Mizuki said in disbelief. He thought he knew something about Naruto. But when he saw Naruto, the corners of his mouth twitched in shock. Naruto's height is even taller than him, and saying that Naruto is a student is simply subversive of the three views. And where did he see a student with two girls in his arms? It's ridiculous, it's just life-changing. Ahem. Iruka coughed awkwardly. He was also shocked by how well Naruto's body developed. But after all, I have seen the big one since I was a child, and I have long seen it. Children, eat more, grow fast, this is not normal. Forehead. Probably. Remembering the way in the village, as long as it is an infinite restaurant, it is eaten yellow by Naruto. The corner of Iruka's mouth twitched at the thought. Okay, start the assessment. Naruto Uzumaki, you go back to your seat first. Mizuki took a deep breath, calmed the shock in his heart, and said with the corners of his mouth twitching. Although Naruto's image subverted his conjecture, his personality could not change. No one willingly becomes the tail of a crane. As long as he is given a chance, Naruto Uzumaki will absolutely desperately seize it. Thinking of this, Mizuki breathed a sigh of relief, picked up the roster, and said, First place, Sasuke Uchiha, come up to take the transformation assessment. Quiet. There was silence. What about people? Does he not want to graduate? Mizuki frowned and tapped the lectern a few times. Waiting for Naruto was because his plan needed to use Naruto, and he waited willingly. But Uchiha Sasuke. Uchiha Sasuke, what qualifications do you have to make him wait? Although it belongs to the Uchiha clan, but the Uchiha clan has been destroyed, what else is there to be arrogant? At the same time, on the streets of Konoha village, Sasuke Uchiha, who was running quickly and sweating profusely, roared angrily, Naruto Uzumaki, you wait for me. Episode 7, The Tsundere Nine-Tailed Nine Llamas. Under Iruka-sensei's persuasion, Mizuki waited angrily for another 10 minutes. Then, after waiting for Uchiha Sasuke to arrive, he finished the assessment for Uchiha Sasuke with an impatient look. Looking at the impatient Mizuki, Sasuke clenched his palms angrily and glared at Naruto fiercely. If it wasn't for looking for him, how could he be late? The assessment continues. 42nd place, Hinata, step forward for assessment. Mizuki looked at the roster and shouted loudly. Hinata was stunned, and looked at Naruto a little shyly. Naruto-kun, then I will go up first. Well, go for it. Naruto smiled and nodded. He is the tail of the crane, the last on the roster, so he is not in a hurry at all. It's like Hinata trotting all the way, standing on the podium, pinching 3 seals, and whispering, Doppelganger. Pung. Next to Hinata, a white mist rises. When the white mist cleared, an identical and equally shy Hinata appeared on the podium. Full marks. Congratulations on passing. Iruka smiled and patted Hinata's shoulder with satisfaction, handing Hinata a forehead to Hinata. Thank you Iruka-sensei. Hinata nodded shyly, grabbed the brace, and trotted all the way to Naruto's side. Naruto-kun, I made it. Well, congratulations. Naruto said with a smile and a nod. Hinata's talent is not weak, but her personality is too shy, and it is not difficult for her to perform the doppelganger technique. Hinata blushed and lowered his head, whispering in a mosquito-like voice, Naruto-kun also have to come on. Naruto smiled and nodded, then stood up lazily and walked towards the podium. The last time he took Hinata to class, so the names of the two are closely linked, and after Hinata finishes, it will be him. The last one, Naruto Uzumaki, come up for assessment. After Mizuki finished speaking, he closed the roster and looked at Naruto with expectant eyes. He especially wanted to see Naruto's look of frustration, disappointment, despair after failing the exam. As long as he made good use of this emotion, he could get the Book of Seals through Naruto, and thinking of this, Mizuki clenched his palms excitedly. Naruto Uzumaki, don't let me down. A sneer appeared on Mizuki's face. No, nine-tailed demon fox, don't let me down. Naruto. Iruka differed from Mizuki's cold color, but looked at Naruto with a worried expression. I hope that this time Naruto can break through himself, not be disturbed by that force, and successfully perform the doppelganger technique. Otherwise, I'm afraid Naruto really has no way to obtain the identity of a ninja this time. Don't worry, Iruka-sensei, you still don't know my strength. Naruto said as he patted his chest with a smile. Alas. Iruka sighed in his heart. Naruto's strength, he understood. With physical skills alone, it is no weaker than ordinary lower endurance. But how can a battle between ninjas be won with physical skills alone? Rao was so Iruka, still encouraging Naruto, come on, I'm sure you can. Naruto nodded, his face became serious, and his body exuded a pressure. Under this pressure, the entire class of 40 or 50 people all held their breath nervously. That crane tail can actually exude this kind of momentum. The people in the class looked at Naruto in shock. It actually exudes this kind of pressure that makes them nervous. Did Naruto really get over it? Iruka looked at Naruto in surprise. Respect. Naruto crossed his left and right hands, and the pressure on his body increased, as if he could burst out with earth-shattering power at any time. Hey, little ghost, don't you need me to take chakra back? Suddenly, a deep voice came to mind in Naruto's mind. Like the roar of a fierce beast, it exuded an extremely terrifying aura, as if looking head-on at a nine-tailed demon fox with a height of 100 meters. Meanwhile, inside Naruto, the huge nine-tailed nine llama, holding his chest with both hands, and the nine tails kept waving, watching Naruto's movements with interest. This time, Naruto didn't ask him to take back the interfering chakra. With his tailed beast chakra making trouble, Naruto Uzumaki, how could he perform such a low-level ninjutsu as the doppelganger technique, outside the seal of the nine tails and nine llamas? A blonde young figure appeared out of thin air, walked over, stood outside the railing that sealed the nine llamas, and said lazily, "Nine llama, your chakra is taken back, or not, it has no effect on me, just say it when you are bored." What do you mean, Naruto? The nine llamas narrowed his eyes, his pupils erected, his head leaned down, staring at Naruto tightly and asked. The nine llamas of the mountains leaned down. That powerful deterrent, if ordinary people see it, I am afraid that they will be frightened and faint on the spot in an instant. However, Naruto had long been accustomed to it, or in the 13 years of getting along, his relationship with the nine llamas had already become quite friendly. Simply put, I can already be undisturbed by your chakra. Naruto said with his hands spread. The chakra of the nine tails is like playing a piano song, blowing a song. Although it is very messy, as long as you get used to it, Naruto can still play beautiful piano music in a noisy environment. Is it? The nine llamas nodded slightly, and there was a hint of appreciation in his fox pupils. You must know that he is the head of the nine-tailed beasts, chakra is the most violent and dark, and he can fall into a state of madness if he is not careful. Immune to his interference, easier said than done, it is even more difficult than ascending to the sky. Then do whatever you want. The nine llamas lazily leaned back and said in a deep voice, "Next time you come over, please me, maybe I will divide a part of my chakra and let you control it." Oh. The corners of Naruto's mouth hooked, and he couldn't help but smile in his heart. After having a good relationship with him, this fox really can't bear the loneliness. "Thank you, nine llamas, next time I'll come and bring you some meat," Naruto said with a smile. "Humph. No thanks. I am also very upset to see the wave feng shui gate that sealed me, and the son of Uzumaki Joshinai suffering this humiliation." The nine tails snorted, and the fox pupils closed and said in a low voice. Naruto thought to himself, this is Tsundere, right? The guy who has lived for hundreds of years actually has such little emotions. With a smile on Naruto's face, the figure gradually disappeared in the seal. Episode 8, Outbreak of the Nine-Tailed Chakra. Fake. Is that chakra of the nine tails? Sarutobi looked at the scene in the crystal ball, suddenly widened his eyes, slapped the table, and stood up, shouting in shock. What? Kakashi, who had just arrived at Hokage's office. Hearing this, he couldn't care about anything else, and quickly rushed to the crystal ball, staring at Naruto in the crystal ball. Did the nine-tails chakra break out? I remember the destruction caused by the nine-tailed demon fox that ravaged Konoha, the dead and injured residents, and the dead and injured ninjas. Sarutobi and Kakashi involuntarily showed a nervous look and clenched their palms tightly. No, there is no such orange-red chakra. After looking at it carefully for a long time, Ape Fei shook his head, and his face showed surprise. The chakra of the nine tails is red, which contains a deep evil meaning. However, the chakra that the human pillar can show is orange-red before it is completely violent, but it also has an evil aura. And what erupted from Naruto's body seemed to be just a deterrent. What is this ability? Is it because you are too focused and therefore the pressure that you show? Kakashi muttered suspiciously. Like a shadow-level powerhouse, the power that bursts out under anger has a certain oppressive force. That power can be called courageous, or it can be called murderous. These Kakashi and Sarutobi are clear. But, Naruto Uzumaki, a 30-year-old boy, a relatively mature teenager, how could he burst out with such power? Under the gaze of Sarutobi Hinata, Kakashi, Iruka, Mizuki, Sakura, Hinata, Ino, Shikamaru, and others, with undivided attention. Naruto's face was serious, he raised his head, and shouted, "Doppelganger art, jump sideways." Boom. Above the podium, there was a loud noise, and a gray smoke enveloped half the classroom. Sarutobi and Kakashi gasped. It's just a doppelganger, there is such a big scene, could it be that Naruto has really mastered the nine-tailed chakra? Only the outbreak of the nine-tailed chakra can create such a big scene. Recalling that when Uzumaki Shinai broke out and beat his classmates violently, the eyes of the 3 generations of Hokage couldn't help but become solemn. Nervously ordered, Kakashi, go and get the people from the sealing class to come. If Naruto can't control the nine-tailed chakra, seal it immediately. Kakashi was stunned for a moment, and then said respectfully, yes. After agreeing, Kakashi's figure flickered, left the Hokage's office, and rushed towards the sealing class in a hurry. Naruto was too young after all. If you let chakra all erupt, I am afraid that it will be eaten by the 9 tails in an instant. Kakashi didn't want to go through that horrible experience. In the office, there are now only 3 generations of Hokage Ape Hibiki, looking at Naruto Uzumaki with a look of surprise and worry on his face. It's great that the 9-tailed chakra really broke out, so it seems that Naruto may really be able to master the ability of the 9 tails. Ape Flying Sun muttered. The only thing to worry about is whether Naruto Uzumaki can suppress the chakra of the 9 tails. If he can't suppress it, he can only seal it. If the seal is useless. Remembering that consequence, Ape Flying Sun clenched his palms tightly. Naruto Uzumaki, don't let me down. In Sarutobi's look of surprise and worry, the dust that shrouded Naruto gradually dispersed. Seeing the scene inside, Ape Fei-ri was dumbfounded. A mouthful of old blood didn't spurt out, and Sarutobi almost wanted to rush into the crystal ball and strangle Naruto Uzumaki. He actually dared to make him worry for a long time. I saw that when the dust cleared, 2 slightly illusory Naruto figures stood among them. Iruka-sensei, how about my doppelganger? Naruto said proudly. Iruka. Iruka's face darkened, and the corners of his mouth twitched. Naruto Uzumaki, you stop your movements for me. Actually used ultra-high-speed movement to create 2 after-images. Naruto stopped, looked at Iruka, and said in shock, Iruka-sensei, how did you find out? How did you find out? Iruka wordlessly pointed to the ground beneath Naruto's feet. MD. If it weren't for the fact that the room was shaking and collapsing, coupled with the cracks in the ground, he would really believe in Naruto's evil. Alas. This ground is really not strong. Naruto looked at the ground that shattered one crack after another, sighed, and stomped on it indignantly. Click. Click, click. What sound? Iruka's eyelids jumped, looking at the source of the voice. He was suddenly frightened into a cold sweat and roared anxiously. Run, run, everyone, the house is going to collapse. The cracks on the roof are 10 centimeters thick. Iruka can even see the blue sky through the crack at the top of the room. Really, Naruto, that guy actually made such a big move. Shikamaru wiped the cold sweat from his head and jumped towards the window without turning his head. He really regretted making friends with Naruto. Making friends with this guy scares him at least 10 years less. The corners of Iruka and Mizuki's mouth twitched, and he quickly led the students to evacuate. When the last student escaped the classroom, a tooth-tingling crackling sound resounded. Boom. Boom. Under the desperate gaze of Karui and Mizuki, the ceiling rumbled down. Naruto. After a roar. Naruto looked at the 2 gray-faced people running out of the ruins with pity, ragged clothes, like the figures of refugees. It's really pitiful. Naruto shook his head and sighed. Who do you think we became like this? The corner of Karui's mouth twitched and roared, unqualified, give me a new practice. Episode 9, The Great Snake Pill Secretly Planned. Really, that's why I said don't come over. Naruto said with a yawn. At this time, he might as well exercise his physical skills to see if he could master the naval 6 styles in the pirate world. Then I'll go back, Iruka-sensei. Naruto shook his head lazily and walked off into the distance, with his hands in his pockets. Wait, you're called Naruto Uzumaki, right? Mizuki, who was gray-faced, barely squeezed out a smile and said, I see that although you are not proficient in ninjutsu, your physical skills are still good, and it is okay to become a ninja. Naruto stood still, raised his eyebrows, and the corners of his mouth inadvertently hooked a playful smile. Especially become a ninja. This guy Mizuki is worthy of being a subordinate of the Big Snake Pill, and he really knows a lot of information. Want to use this to arouse his anger and take revenge on Konoha? Interesting. The corners of Naruto's mouth drew a wistful smile. Mizuki-sensei, alas. Iruka looked at Mizuki and sighed, wanting to say something, but glanced at Naruto worriedly and waved his hand. Naruto, you go back first. Naruto nodded, and with Shikamaru and the others, walked towards the forest outside the village. Iruka looked at Naruto's distant back and sighed, too. Mizuki-sensei, you don't know something. If you want a ninja who practices physical arts to graduate from ninja school, you must have a ninja who specializes in physical arts named, but Naruto. Iruka shook his head helplessly. These days, he used to ask Mekkai, Moonlight Blast, Kiki Kakashi, these elite shinobi. I want them to name Naruto, as a way to get Naruto Uzumaki to graduate from ninja school. At the beginning, these ninjas who practiced physical arts rejected him without exception. So, how could Naruto graduate from ninja school? That's a shame. Mizuki sighed and shook his head, and then said, in that case, then I will go back first. After the words fell, Mizuki used the teleportation technique and disappeared in place. Iruka shook her head helplessly and looked at Naruto's distant back. I secretly wanted to invite Naruto to eat a few barbecue meals to comfort him. Otherwise, Naruto would not be good because he failed the exam. Naruto in the distance, not at all sad as Iruka imagined, said with a look of excitement, hey. Today, to commemorate your tragic life as ninjas, let's have a big party. Shikamaru's face turned bitter and said, don't say things that make me desperate. If it weren't for his family, he wouldn't have wanted to become a ninja at all. Just thinking about the sad running around all day of his father at home makes his scalp tingle. In contrast, it's not what happened to the ninja, he just wants to be a salted fish who is lazy at home and marries a wife. Naruto, don't look down on ninjas too much. Ino snorted, turned his head, clasped his hands to his chest, and said with longing, maybe our instructor is a big handsome guy, a handsome guy even more handsome than Sasuke, teach us powerful ninjutsu, adventure together, and grow together. That's right, maybe he will invite us to dinner, take care of our lives, be happy with us when we are happy, and comfort us when we are sad. Sakura said excitedly. Flower idiot girl or two. Naruto complained helplessly. Still risky, do you think this is the world of pirates? In the world of ninjas, there are only battles and killings, and if you are not careful, you will lose your life. I really don't know if there is something wrong with these guys. Naruto. Who is the other idiot you were talking about? Sakura clenched her fists and looked at Naruto viciously and said. Of course it's you too, you look like idiots. Naruto said lazily, and then the corners of his mouth hooked, saying, first of all, let me remind you, don't be a fool, as far as I know, one of the ninjas who guide our group is a serious person. One is Uncle Asuma, a bearded and scruffy uncle. One is late King Kakashi. Don't expect them to be handsome. Uncle with a beard. Late King, hey, Naruto, you're kidding, right? Ino asked as he looked at Naruto with a bitter face. These two guys are not serious people when they hear it, and they won't really want to guide them, right? Naruto, are you sure? Sakura also stared at Naruto tightly, her face full of worry. Should they really learn from this kind of weirdo? You ask this about this, he knows better than me. Naruto pointed at Shikamaru and said. As the Nara clan with the strongest intelligence among the 3 Inoka butterfly clansmen, Shikamaru has much more information than him. I'm afraid Shikamaru already knew who their instructor was before the class was divided. Naruto, don't throw things at me. Shikamaru complained helplessly, and then looked at the nervous second daughter, rubbed the back of his head with a headache and said, although I don't want to admit it, but our instructor is really a scruffy uncle with a beard. Asuma is the son of 3 generations of Hokage, and his strength is also at the level of upper ninja. But I don't know which string is wrong, I have a beard, and I like to smoke on weekdays, which is indeed quite sloppy. Don't. Ino and Sakura shouted sadly. The ninja training they yearned for, the good life, the handsome teacher, is over before it starts. Episode 10, Asuma is a good wife. Naruto. What about Sakura? Is Sakura in a group with me? Coming back to his senses, Ino grabbed Naruto's clothes and asked viciously. She is going to the sloppy uncle, how can Sakura with a wide forehead enjoy the blessing? Well, ask him, ask him. Naruto raised a smile and pointed at Shikamaru, who was speechless. Naruto, you caused the incident, why are you pushing me into the fire pit? Shikamaru's face was full of helplessness, you know, the last thing he wanted to get involved in was between women. Say. Quickly, Ino and Sakura ran to Shikamaru and shouted viciously. Okay, okay. Shikamaru touched his head helplessly and said, this is internal news, you know, don't spread it. Their 3 clans, except for the Hyuga clan, are the strongest in Konoha village, so general internal information can't hide them. And Shikamaru's father is Narashika, who also handles some government affairs for the 3 generations of Hokage on weekdays, and it just so happens that this time the distribution is handled by Narashika. As the son of Narashika, he naturally knew this information. Got it, say it quickly. Ino said with an anxious look, and Sakura looked at Shikamaru with concern. One is worried that Sakura will be placed under the command of a handsome ninja, and the other is worried about being placed under the command of a scruffy uncle. Therefore, both of them looked at Shikamaru nervously. Alas. Shikamaru sighed helplessly, pointed to Dingji, who ate potato chips, and then pointed to Ino, and said to himself, we are pig deer butterflies and cannot be separated, so we are all Asuma students. As for Sakura. Shikamaru hesitated and said, I heard that it seems that he will be arranged to Kakashi. When Ino heard this, his face suddenly showed indignation, and he said indignantly, why is my instructor a scruffy uncle who is going to Kakashi's place with a wide forehead? Sakura clenched her palms excitedly, and then looked at Shikamaru nervously. Nah, Shikamaru, how is that ninja named Kakashi? handsome or not? Shikamaru rubbed his head with a headache and said, the strength is very strong anyway, the appearance, no one has ever seen it. He had also met Kakashi a few times at home, and he had heard his father say that his strength was quite not weak. That's good. Sakura patted her flat chest happily, and then looked at Inodoi proudly. Ino, in the future, you will follow your uncle with a beard and study hard, maybe you will learn how to grow a beard. Jinya's face turned dark, but he still said with a hard mouth, what is the use of the long handsome, I still have to speak with strength, and when I learn my skills, I will definitely teach you a good lesson. Humph. Kakashi certainly won't be weaker than Asuma. Sakura said unconvinced. Looking at the two girls who kept stirring their mouths, Shikamaru had black lines. This has not yet been successfully classed, so it is necessary to compete with whose teacher is stronger. But that's none of his business. Shikamaru quickly hid to the side, silently drinking the tea in the lake, afraid that Naruto would throw some thunder at him again. At this moment, Naruto's mouth hooked a wistful smile, coughed lightly, gathered everyone's attention, and said, I don't know who is stronger, Asuma or Kakashi, but I know a heavyweight news, don't tell anyone else. In an instant, the eyes of everyone present lit up. Gossip. Gossip about elite shinobi. Hearing this news, even Sasuke, who didn't care, couldn't help but prick up his ears and listen carefully. Get some of the instructor's black history, maybe it will come in handy. This is simply good news for Sasuke, who is bent on revenge. Don't worry, Naruto, we won't say it. Dingy patted his big belly and said with a reassuring look to Naruto. Asuma has a very good relationship with their three families, and he has nothing to invite to dinner on weekdays. But this does not affect his knowledge of Asuma's black history at all. Naruto glanced at Dingy's big mouth and complained in his heart, this seems to belong to your mouth the biggest. Say it quickly, Naruto, I don't want to wait until the party to listen. Ino urged eagerly. A woman's gossip spirit is really cultivated from childhood. Naruto shook his head helplessly, and then said with a smile under everyone's gaze, according to the information I got by chance, the son of the third generation of Hokage, Sarutobi Asuma, has a unique hobby. He's a good wife. Poof. Shikamaru, who was leaning against the corner of the wall, silently drinking tea and listening to the information with his ears pricked up, sprayed Ding Ji's face with a sip of tea. Ding Ci didn't pay attention to this at all, and the bag of potato chips he held in his hand fell to the ground with a snap. A skeptical look on his face. Huh. That bearded Asuma, who has a big grinning personality, is actually a good wife. Shino, yeah, Sasuke, Dingji, Shikamaru, Ino, Sakura, Hinata, passing pedestrians. With his mouth open, he could reach into a fist and look at Naruto in disbelief. This thunder, so hanging did not blow them up.